nose, dearie. Welcome in. Hey Dio, welcome in. I think we're all set. I am rolling this stuff out today just in memory. I didn't have time to print anything. No notes. We going from straight out of my skull. This ought to be interesting. It is Saturday, March 1st, 2025. And this will be posted on YouTube soon enough. Got just a little bit of cleaning here to do real quick. I did a bunch of other stuff. I cleaned all around here, but I forgot to get this little bit of stuff off of the table. Can't have that. That's just about it. Hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. Ah, my goodness. Alright, we're going to give it just a couple of minutes, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Trying to get my hair dried off. I had cleaner and stuff all over me, so I had to get a shower. That's why I was running a little late. Boo boo, welcome in. Oh, we got a joke time. Let's see. You know, all the old cow jokes, and I've told a bunch of them. But I don't know what you call a cow that's being airlifted. Certainly isn't ground beef. How you doing? I live for the boo. Start with today. I think we're going to start with our universal one. Here's what we're going to do. Attempt to remember what was in the beef mix, and we are going to make some, basically some Turkish stuffed eggplant. I've got 4 or 5 very skinny eggplants, so they're going to be a little bit problematic, but we're going to give it a shot. We're going to bake those. And I'm also going to make a green Thai curry because of all of the things that I had left over. Like 90% of it was stuff that goes into that. So we're going to make that. I mean, I've still got a block of tofu from a week and a half ago too. So I'm not wasting anything. I spent a lot of money on food the last couple of weeks. I'm going to waste a bit of it. So we're going to make that green Thai green with tofu. We've got some special long beans, and I've got a mega carrot. I'm going to try doing some of those techniques that I watched so many of our chefs that are no longer around do. I also want to make some stuff for biscuits as well, because I have been buying food at work and it costs like $15 to $20 every 4 days, and I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. It's too much. They've gone and raised all their prices, so now I've really got to be more careful. The reason they did that was because of so many people stealing. So we're going to make something that I saw in there, also from memory. We're doing a bunch of guessing today. I think we'll probably start with that. Just taking care of some things I needed to do. Yeah. Just don't overreach. Hey, Super Kawaii, welcome in. Here, getting ready to get started here in just a minute. And I am going to do a little bit more to conserve a little more cash in some of these recipes. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to be a little more creative with a few things here and there. Try and turn cheap things into decent things. I've done this a few times. Certainly well practiced in it. Get started. So let's start off with breakfast, shall we? Just here to chill and hang. Also watch SWAT on Netflix. That's cool. That's cool. I don't have Netflix. Alright, let's switch on down here. So first up, charging $2.99 for one biscuit. This is not tolerable. So we are going to do something about it. Slowly trying to catch up. It's like 70 seasons. I don't know anything about it. So around here, we get a lot of this. This is kind of a local thing. This is some hot country sausage here. There's enough here to make more than enough for an entire week. And again, gonna make these this time. We're gonna use these because this is a lot faster. Remember, I'm also trying to conserve time as well, because I know a lot of people don't have time to sit down and actually make these from scratch, because this takes a while. So there you go. Now, here's the thing. We're gonna make something called cowboy biscuits. This is something they've been putting out, and they're charging $3 a piece for these. This was, I believe, $3. This was like $2 and change. You got some Castleberry hot dog chili sauce. This is the exact consistency and the material or beef that they're using. It's beef and pork, I believe. These cost $1. For me to do it, it would probably cost $8 or $10. It makes me think of Grandma's sausage balls. That's another thing too. I'm only going to probably make about 5 slices out of this, and then the rest of it we're going to probably do exactly that. We're going to do that and then put them in the freezer bags and then and seal them up, and we'll save them for later. And then we've got some white onion for this as well. Now you can add cheese if you like. I'm probably going to put a little bit in there, but that's it. So this is like $8-10 here, and you can make 8 of them. And it's the hot variety? Yeah. So you make 8 of these the way you want them, and they taste better, and they're not those ones that they're charging $3 a piece for. So if you were to buy those for 5 days, that's $15-20 right there. So this is 50% off if you make it twice as much. So we're going to start with that. Very simple, very easy. So let's dice up our onion and get our biscuits ready. We're going to put these in the oven, and then we're going to fry ourselves up some nice, decently sized thickness slices of this. This is kind of high in sodium, but it's not super bad. I mean, I know most of you aren't overly concerned about it, but it's only 360 for 6 servings, so 6 very thick ones out of this roll. We're not going to be using that much, so it falls within my guidelines, believe it or not. So we're going to get our little cutting board here. I'm only going to use a little bit of the onion, and I'm actually going to check and see if I have any more in the fridge first. Okay, I've finally gone through all of it. I don't want to go past my limit, you know, and waste stuff. So we're going to start off. This is a white onion. These are going to be a little bit more bitey. But it adds a better flavor to this one than yellow. Or as they call them, brown, apparently, in other countries. I'm not sure why we call them yellow and everybody else calls them brown. Yeah, this is like one of the cheapest ones, but it's also probably one of the best, and doesn't have any extra fillers and things. Oh boy, this one's being difficult. Parts of it are very thick, and part of it is very thin, so it doesn't want to peel properly. Thai green is not going to be chicken today. We are just going to use the tofu. I've been trying to keep my recipes as 1 and 1 lately. 1 vegetarian and 1 meat-based. I'm going to cut thin slice for 2. From this. This is actually going to go into the chili, and we're going to simmer it for just a few minutes. And then we're going to chop up some square ones, little square cubes, to use as topping, because it's supposed to have a little bit of a crunch to it. I don't know where they got this whole terminology from, and where they got all of the idea from, because I'm not really familiar with it. I never saw it until recently. We're going to save this one. This is going to be one of my originals here. I want to remember what I did. We will post these in our Discord. Anybody that wishes to join, you're welcome to do so. We store all of our recipes and other information there. If anybody wants to ask any questions or offer their own, they're welcome to do so. We have a section for both me and you. This will give you the ability to share with the community. You're welcome to do so. You don't have to participate. And if you do want to join, click the link below the screen, and you can join and let us know you're there, because we do manual verification to prevent any bots or scammers. We've had 1 or 2 scammers get in, but never done any damage. So I'm going to try to keep it that way. Of course, you can add anything else you like as well. The music's getting a little loud. It's backbeating. Before I get my hands all dirty. Got it. There we go. All right. So now we've got our little bit of onion here ready. Now we need to cut up and set up some cube onion. Cubed onion for our topping. little patient cutting. There we go. Now, next up. So we've got our cooked version and we have our topping version, which we may end up using for something else as well. Now we need to get our biscuits onto the pan and get them in the oven. So we're going to preheat to 350. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Set your height. Cooking pan here. Hey, Tom, welcome in. You caught me making breakfast. What's up? How you doing? I'm setting up to do a couple of different things today. Good seeing ya. Hey, Dio, can we get a shout out for Tonton? Everybody give Tonton a follow. Tonton does really good work. He's a good friend. I appreciate everything you do. It's 350, right? Yeah. And the can exploded. That's the first time in a while. We are doing some cook stuff right now. We're going to get started on our Turkish dish here in a few minutes. We're going to need both of our baking sheets today. Don't place them too close together because they will expand and then stick. If you've got a little bit of room, go ahead and use it. In this case, we do. I gotta remember to keep my eye on it today. We don't want anything scorched. And I'm also going to use a little bit of butter spray here. I know it's not the most preferred way to do it, but set this over on the side and we're going to cut up our sausage. We're going to start cooking that too. We are not going to waste anything. You do want to cut these a little bit thicker, but not that thick. You, of course, can make it any way you like. Pull this one off. You get another one. Also think this knife is not good enough for this anymore. It's going to need to be sharpened. Oh, I can be ridiculous in using the new knife. I haven't even had a chance to use it yet. Let's be ridiculous and use the new knife. We got one of these. This is the last one in the set. Oh, wow. All right, here's what we need for the week. That is super, super sharp. Who's Jen? Yeah, it's like cutting through butter. That is true. We're going for about 1/2 inch thick. And the rest of this we're going to make into as you mentioned earlier, we'll make it into sausage balls and put those in the freezer, and we will make a recipe with those later. Got a good vacuum sealer now, so you can make those up and put them right in. What am I doing? What am I doing? I immediately felt the grease, and my instant response was to start washing my hands. Wow. Oh me. All right, so these are ready, and this is ready, and this is ready. We need to cut this open. So we're gonna make these cowboy biscuits here in just a minute. I'm gonna have to look it up, see if that's really a thing, or if it's just something that mass food distribution company made up. Our oven is almost up to temperature. It does look like a miniature katana. It's a meat slicing knife. It's meant for that, so. Of course, it's kind of meant for carving turkey, but you know. So this we're just gonna kind of mash it all up here. I'm gonna go for about 1.5 inches or so. You'll get the hang of it pretty quick. You start setting them down next to each other. A little bigger or a little smaller isn't going to hurt anything. Just don't make them too much bigger. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking we're going to save these for a pasta dish. Marinara. Our oven has reached temperature. That looks like about the perfect amount for 2 servings right there. Perfect. I will just set that in the refrigerator for now. Good. Okay. So we need about 13 to 15 minutes on these biscuits. We're going to get them nice and fluffy, and then we're going to slice them horizontally as they cool down. We're going to cook up our sausage, and we're going to get our sauce going here in just a second. And this is something that if you're doing it in parallel, it will go pretty quickly. So let's head on over to the stove, shall we? First up, our biscuit. Nice and warm. And we will start heating up our rear one here. We're going to cook this on low. We're going to put it down to about 4 or so. I'm just going to let it simmer very low. Mainly because we're going to be working on our other one at the same time, so we don't want to overdo it. There is going to be a lot of chili sauce. So if you're going to make something like this, you might want to plan around. I have already observed, and I know everybody else has too, that prices in the last couple of weeks alone have gotten really bad. So, you do a little bit of planning, it'll be real good for you. I saw a picture somewhere that somewhere in the world eggs were like 99. Oh God. I hope that's not true. So we're gonna let that simmer up, and then we're gonna let our onions just kind of simmer in it. And we'll keep going for 10 or 15 minutes. We're gonna take our sausage here, and we're gonna cook those nice and slow too. Put a little color on it. You don't want them to dry. What you cooking today? So we're starting off with breakfast today in order. We're making some cowboy biscuits to I'm only going to make one of them, but I'm making all the ingredients for that so I can eat those during the week. We are then going to be making a Turkish dish, which we're going to take some eggplant and we're going to roll it up into kind of a flower shape and fill it with a beef mixture, which is this is a Turkish dish, and we're going to roast those. And then we are going to make some green Thai curry. So we've got two very different recipes coming up. We do have a commercial coming up here in just a minute, so hang on for that. I've got good stuff, so we are going to be doing we're going to be doing the curry the right way. It's going to be green. The only thing I'm short on today is the bean sprouts. I'm going to have to grab some of those tomorrow. But I've got kaffir lime and I've got some frozen, but I do have some basil as well. So we're going to do this. This kind of curry has actually become one of the few things that I can really remember how to do without having to look at my notes. I love Thai curry, I really do. Let's head on over here. I don't really need any oil, but I'm gonna put a little bit in. Hey Nate, welcome in. Now, while that's cooking, we're also going to go ahead and start up some jasmine rice. I forgot that takes like an hour, so let's go ahead and do that. We'll pop out the sushi. Get that going. This would be a little different. I'm going to add a little bit of wild rice. I know that's not usual, but I like having a little bit of color there. A little bit. And we need a little bit of water. Oh, I'm turning this down to a 3 or it's going to start scorching. That chili will burn quick, so be careful. Okay, that's 2 cups. Wait a minute. Oh, come on. There we go. Luckily, I'm keeping everything on low heat here. Turn that down a little bit more. I want it to heat. I don't want it to go crazy. Alright, let's get started with our sausages. That is not quite hot enough. Okay. Yeah. You see how our onions just sort of melted into it? And if you like, since this is a relatively inexpensive one, you can add a little bit of onion powder, or if you want to add a little bit more hot stuff, you can. I wouldn't suggest much of anything other than maybe a little garlic. Which I'm looking for because I don't use it very often. They put a timer on the oven, so you have to keep an eye on it. They're rattling pretty well. Hey, Goofball Doggo, welcome in. Thank you for the follow. It's kind of hard for me to watch the stream, but I will catch up with it. Don't worry, everybody. Oh, they're looking pretty good. We're starting to change just a little. Remember to heat up to just barely medium. Now with these, you can put them into a small Tupperware container for a couple of days. Should be all right. I've been saying it for a couple of weeks now, but we may have to sit down and actually do a knife sharpening stream. I am very much out of practice. All these new knives that I've gotten have been so much higher quality that they don't lose their edge in 10 minutes. And they haven't been super expensive either. That's been the great part. Alright, I'm going to pull the chili off now. It was sitting simmering on just a 2, so you can keep it on very low temperature. And it's got that little bit of garlic, a little bit of onion smell to it too, which is perfect because that's what they're supposed to smell like. I'm going to set these on a pot holder. Hey Jen, welcome in. Thank you for the subscription for 49 months. Wow. I'm coming up on 50 and 55 in some places. It's amazing to see it, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. How you doing today? You beat the game? Ah, awesome. Everybody give Jen a follow too. Doing 3D games lately in VR on weekends. There we go. Those are looking pretty good. They're still not quite done though. We're doing breakfast right now, Jen, and our biscuits should be almost done. Yep, they're done. I like them nice and light. You don't want them too dark. Oh, that's getting hot real quick. Ah. Over here. Ooh, that's warm. I'm gonna turn the heat down just a little bit. I don't like dealing with sausage like this pretty frequently because it I have a tendency to scorch it. So right now we're making we're making the ingredients for cowboy biscuits. We've got some that's some spicy sausage we've got right there. I'm gonna make enough to store it so that I can put it in. We've got some chili that's already done with some onion in it. And next up is going to be our beef mixture and our eggplant dish, which is these kind of like a flower-shaped eggplant that they make in Turkey. I'm not sure how it's going to go with those because I found the skinny ones, but I couldn't find them any thicker than that. All she had were the very, very thin ones. But I'm still going to try to make it with those. And then we'll be making a Thai green curry as well. And of course, there's enough of this beef mixture that we're going to have way more than we need for that. So I'm also going to use that for making tacos too. I'm not making the tacos right now. I've still got to go get a couple things for that. Still got it soaking out blood a little bit. So they're not quite done. You should get dinner ready. What do you have tonight? we have to have an internal temperature of around 170 or so, which is honestly not that hard to do because it heats up very quickly. And we are at 170 there. We are at 170 there, so we are done. Good. The right amount of color without going overboard. Perfect. Turn that off for now. We'll come back over here. So for your combination, all you're going to do there we go. You're just going to take your biscuit here. I know it's a little small, but the roll was a little bit big too, or a little bit small. You're going to add in your chili here. Because this is not the cheap food place, you can put as much as you want. And then add in a little bit of your white onion. There is your cowboy biscuit. These are actually quite good. I've had a few of them. That is number one for today. Like I said, pretty easy. It just takes you a little while because you got to bake everything and cook it. I'm going to bring this back, get a picture, and we'll start on the next one. This next one is just entirely out of memory here. So I may make a mistake. Yeah, this is a really good option here because this, like I said, this wasn't but about $10. So you can make 4 or 5 or 6 of these or 8 even out of what I bought. And it's more than enough for you and your friends, or enough for you to meal prep for a couple days. Not pay a ton for them to prepare. All right, next up. Remember, this is a family-friendly show for the most part before you start making your jokes. So we've got ourselves our eggplants here. And we've got, I know you're sitting there making a joke about those eggplants, but check this out. That's a carrot. That carrot is literally the size of my arm. It's huge. Now we're not using carrot for this, we're using it for the curry though. Yeah, Dio. I knew. I didn't figure it was going to be you to make that joke, but there you go. This pepper's got another pepper in it, I think. So I'm going to use a little bit of green pepper here. In addition, here's some yellow onion and garlic. That is a very thick carrot. We've got ourselves some nice garlic here. We're going to have our fresh pepper here. And we're going to have some salt. Now, like usual, I'm going to have to be careful with the salt. You can use a little more, obviously, to taste. But for me, to taste is a lot less than it is for you. We'll just put it that way. Now, additionally, I'm going to be using, instead of using a quarter of a box of beef broth, while it's simmering, we're just going to add a little bit of our beef bouillon powder and a little bit of water so that we don't waste a lot. Because I'll end up using like 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of broth, and then we'll end up having to throw the box. Now, what else goes in this? Well, it's a lot of paprika. Turkish dishes use a lot of paprika. So I've got the regular paprika here. This is not the Hungarian paprika though. Generally what they use is the sweet Hungarian paprika, and I just don't have any. So we're going to use the paprika we do have. I also went ahead, because I'm thinking about making a very simple soup here in a couple weeks, went ahead and bought a couple of these. These are the very, very inexpensive $1.27 paprika. These are fine. You can use these. I would suggest getting 2 or 3 of these if they're really cheap. If you can get a bigger bulk one, that's fine. But paprika is something that you will use a lot of. Now, I am thinking, I'm trying to remember what else was in this. We've got some windstorm action going on outside apparently too. Here, just ignore it. Salt, pepper, paprika. Don't think there was anything else. The beef. This time, normally. Oh, basil. That's right. Basil. A little bit of basil too. So I've got some just standard basil here. Just a simple basil. Normally I try to buy the ground beef in bulk, but here's the thing. Normally these would only be a few dollars each. Y'all are going to be incensed by this. I got the lean, and I also got a pound of the chuck, which is the lower grade. This is more fat in it. These two alone were almost $14. I'm not kidding you, it was that much. So, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna make our eggplant. We're gonna try to make, I bought 4 eggplants. the eggplants plus the beans plus the other stuff was only like $20. So that wasn't too bad. But the beef here is expensive. So we're going to mix these two together. The little bit of fat here will help with the binding as well. We're going to add all of our ingredients here, and we're just going to kind of saute it until it's a nice ground beef mixture, which obviously can be used for tacos too. They're just going to be Turkish tacos, that's all. So I was just thinking about not wasting it and also not cooking part of it and then throwing, a quarter pound in the freezer, because that's just pointless. So that's what we're going to do with it. Now we do need the salt for this one. We're going to have to slice these very carefully, and we're going to have to coat the inside of each one of them with salt for a little while and let them sit, because they're going to sweat out a lot of bitterness. Eggplant by itself, by its nature, is a little bit bitter. You don't want all of that bitterness. So that's where we're going to go with this. Now I'm adding the green pepper. The green pepper I don't believe was part of the original recipe, but I just couldn't see doing it without it in this case. But we are going to use a lot of paprika. This is going to be kind of blood red colored. Enough paprika that I'm going to have to think about it. Alright, I'm going to get a picture here, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing up is to start sweating our eggplant. Our eggplants are going to need to be cut down, so I'm going to pull these away before we open them. This is our meat dish for today. Now with our eggplants, we're going to wash each one of them as we go. We're going to slice these longitudinally, which is very unusual. We don't normally do this. But this particular recipe is kind of a work of art. We're going to have to be careful here. I'm going to use our small knife for this one. If these eggplants were bigger, I would probably use the bigger knife, but these are small. We got to cut 5 slices out of this, but I think we can't do 5. We're going to have to do 4. So I'm going to try to get it on as straight as possible. I'm going to go straight down the middle, but not all the way up to the neck here. So we're going to start right about here. I'm just going to kind of work my way in. Alright, so we're split in half. We're going to try to get one more slice on each side. I think this will work. This is literally a I saw this recipe and I wanted to try it kind of situation. Be careful. Here we go. So we got 4 slices out of it instead of 5. That'll work. So here's what I'm going to do. I know this is the part that doesn't come well for me for for salt. Very common situation. I keep seeing this honeycomb candy recipe everywhere that you want to try. Yeah, and the problem is that they don't publish the recipe, and you have to kind of watch it once or twice and hope that you remember. In this case, I saw it once a week ago, so we're taking a shot in the dark here. This is going to be a try it and taste it situation. So I'm going to gently pull this apart here. I'm going to salt it a little bit. All right. We got to salt these to get them to sweat. How you doing, Zoe? On our slightly thicker one, we'll see if we can do 5. I don't think we can, but we'll try. I personally haven't really noticed too much of the quote-unquote bitterness. I've done several eggplant recipes. So I'm going to cut slightly off thinner this time. But the center one's a little thin. All right, set this one over. We'll try making one more here. I bought one extra one to make sure I didn't screw it up. And not have a back. This one's a little too thin. I keep saying that, but that's not really fair because no eggplant is too thin, right? A lot better than I was. Boyfriend got me Binding of Isaac, so I have fun starting over. I really want to eat that biscuit now. Center stripe is easy, but cutting the outer ones not so much. There we go. Salt. This one is not so super friendly to my salt-free diet, I know. You know, I think we'll go ahead and just cut this one too. We'll see if it's possible to reheat these in the microwave. Salt here. Okie dokie. Starting to steam. Got a bit of a curve to it. It's gonna be a little more difficult to cut this one. It's got two curves in it. It's got kind of a little bend down here. Just goes right on in like that, you know? Okay. Yeah, first cut. That did not cut well. Needed these to be a little bit on the flexible side. Since we're using tofu in our green curry, I'm not going to use these. I was just thinking I could use this last one in that green curry recipe, but no, I don't think I can. All right, a little bit of salt. Salt. Some of this salt will sweat out. So we've got our eggplants ready here. We've got all four of them sliced up and ready to go. Touched or had any salt in my hands in the last 2 years. One time. All right, for the rest of it, let's go ahead and rinse this off. Start working on our pepper here. All right, I've seen a bunch of different methods of cutting peppers, but I think the one that works for me best is to do what we've been doing. Put it down like this, break it open, and then just grab the core and pop it out. There is another pepper growing in there. Look at that. I heard it thumping around in there. This pepper has a very peppery smell to it too. This one's fairly fresh. We're going to cut it up nice and finely. And get back to my better knife. Not better knife, but bigger knife. I'm not saying bigger is better. Every knife has its purpose. Okay, there we go. Nice clean pepper. Probably not going to use all of it. We're going to have to kind of judge. Well, we might. We might, because we're going to use some of this for taco meat too. I'm going to cut it fairly fine, but not super fine. cube it into small bits. Just like that. We might just have to throw some of this into our curry. That's a lot of pepper. That's just one green pepper now. Don't let your eyes get too big when you're buying stuff. That sounds like a weird phrase, but sometimes you don't need the biggest pepper or the biggest onion. A lot of times you need the middle. Next up. I cannot honestly remember if garlic was part of this recipe or not. I think it was. I think that they used garlic powder, to be honest, but we're going to use real garlic, fresh garlic. This is one of my primary dishes this week. Probably going to use about 4 cloves here. Well, those are fairly big. Let's go with 3. I'm entirely eyeballing this one. We're going to grind it up nice and tight. Alrighty, we'll be here. We're going to take our garlic here. Rough chop it quickly. You get a nice fine chop, fine dice to it. Wrap it in there. There we go. I think that's more than enough. We probably only need about half of this onion, but we'll see. Let's just check it out. Okay, good. Still fresh. Yep. We're going to dice this one, so we're going to cut this one longitudinally. Yeah. We want a fairly fine chop on this one too. Easy. You can see that a half an onion is quite a lot in this case. No problem. All right. Next up is our basil. We're only going to use a little bit in the cooking part of this recipe. I think we're also going to add a little bit of parsley too. Oh, that's right. There's parsley in this. I forgot, and I bought it too. Oh well. I literally bought parsley for this recipe, and I forgot to put it on the table. Whoops. That's fine. There is a lot of parsley in this one too. We're not going to use, probably not going to use all of this, but we're going to use a lot of it. I got a little bit for garnish. I completely forgot about that. Oh, it looks. There we go. This is what happens when we try to remember things from memory. Completely. All right, next up. I'm going to try to avoid using more than more than a teaspoon of our caldo res. That's our beef bouillon. Paprika, we are going to add it as we go and as we're cooking it to make sure the color is right. I don't care how spicy it gets, we just need to make sure the color is right. So be prepared for that one. Now, as for our basil here, I'm only going to add maybe 2 or 3 leaves here. Stay in there, basil. Come on. Cooperate with me here. Alright, so we got a little bit of basil. I think we're about ready to go. Hey, Bond. You just ate so much now. Hey, Bond. Hopefully that's not just the whole situation. All right, that's about a half teaspoon. I'm going to go a little more. And that's about 3/4 of a teaspoon. We're going to move this all over the stove now. So we're going to start cooking our onions and garlic and peppers first. Then we're going to add in our herbs and other things after it's mostly cooked. So let's head over to the stove. But before that, I know Bond hasn't been streaming much lately, but hey, he's a streamer and let's give him a little support too. Okay. Garlic, onions, and peppers. We're going to start heating our pan up at about a medium. This is beef, you don't want to go too hot. I am using olive oil for this one. You've been stuck in fire. Now wait a minute now. You've not been here yet. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh gosh, what was that? Hey Glitch, hello, thank you. Thank you so much. Bond, don't scare people for no reason. Long time no see, exactly. How are you today? You just got here while we were starting to do our next cook. I still like that phrase. The rice is ready. Hey Wheelie, welcome in. Hello, hello. How are you doing? Rice is ready. It was good timing. Now that our pan's heating up, we can clean up real quick and we can get started here. Oh, very nice. I'm just going to fluff up our rice a little bit here while we're waiting. It's not even for this recipe, it's for the next one. There we go. We'll keep it nice and warm. I love the rice cooker. I really do. I have two really good ones. Adopted a beautiful kiddo who's turning 3 tomorrow. Really? Well, congratulations. Sounds like you've been doing really well. Real sluggish. We're going to give it a minute to heat up. This is going to be an interesting dish if it works. I really hope it does. If not, well, we got a backup plan. We can turn it into tacos. I love having a backup plan. Bit of catch up since I haven't been around here for a couple of years. I'm married, adopted a kid, and currently have a 1 month old. Wow. All right. I seem to remember last time you were here, you were like 18. You grow. It's good to hear from you. It's good to see you. Rice with soy sauce. The rice today, turning 20 pretty soon. Oh, okay. Good, my memory's not failing yet. That's good. So Wheelie, we're gonna make a Thai green curry here after we make this one. This is a Turkish dish. If you're coming in halfway through, I had already sliced up and salted some eggplant here. We're letting it sweat. Put you on your 18th birthday. It has been a while. And what we're doing now is we're making the beef mixture, which I am going to probably end up adding a little bit of cheese as a binder. I don't think cheese was in the original recipe, but we're just going with it today. And we're going to roll these up into kind of a flower shape. We're going to take these individual leaves here, if you want to call them that, and just kind of roll them in like that. I'm trying to get them to sweat out and soften up a little bit. I'm hoping it won't take too long. And we're gonna bake those in the oven at 350 and just kind of let it all meld together. And it's going to end up being kind of like looking at a little flower when you do finish with it. This is a Turkish dish. Again, there's going to be a lot of paprika here in a few minutes. Paprika is a big staple for Turkish dishes. Lamb and beef. And I was looking at this and thinking about it, and with all the high costs of food and everything, this one did not look like a super expensive one. Like I say, if we have a little issue, well, we've got taco backup. I think that's probably hot enough to go ahead and get started. I think we'll use about that much of the onion. Pretty much all of the garlic. We're going to soften up our peppers too. Not going to use quite all of it. Because look at that, that's a lot right there. We want these to soften up a little bit before we add the beef to it. going to need the onion and the green pepper anyway for the green curry we're going to do later. Last couple of years, I have been fairly well. Blood pressure's still a little high, but not too bad. We're working on getting the weight down. We've been doing pretty well here. I have been cooking consistently every week. It's good seeing you. Alright, with this, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of salt and pepper before we start sprouting the pan. And a little bit of our paprika here. I'm not going to add all of it, just a little. That's for later. We'll add a little shake of salt, not much. Oh, okay. Got a lot to do before tomorrow? Okay. Alright, so I've just added some of the paprika. We'll be adding more. Part of the reason I also wanted to use the beef with a little more fat in it was so that we could have a little bit of oil so we could mix it in. The lean beef doesn't have enough in it. But I also didn't want to go overboard and have too much. I'm hoping the 50-50 mix will be good. You can see right here where this is going to be a good mix. I can see it already. I'm going to start off by adding in our ground beef, our standard 80-20 here. It's going to have a little bit more fat in it. We'll get this in here and start breaking it up. Regardless of how much we use here, we're definitely going to have enough to make some tacos too. So don't worry, you're not going to waste any of it. At the very worst, if you can't get to it in a day or two, you can always just freeze it. Portion it up and drop it in the freezer. Here is our lean beef. This comes from cows with one leg shorter than the other. Definitely cooled the pan off adding all that at once. We're not going to let it heat back up. I'm surprised nobody caught me on that one. Oh, gonna be early for the next one. Nobody gonna call me on that, huh? That looks nice already. It hadn't even really started cooking yet. I will say the weather here has turned around, at least for a few days. Hopefully it'll stay, but we'll see. It went from being 20 degrees below zero to 60 in a matter of days. All right, we're gonna start mixing in some more paprika. And our pepper. And we'll add a little bit more salt. And I think probably less than a quarter teaspoon, maybe somewhere between a quarter and a half, maybe. Not much. This may not be enough energy in it. I'm going to bring the heat up a little bit. Oh, look at that. Can you imagine how good that smells? Oh my gosh. All you need to do with this is to add a little bit of salsa, a little bit of cheese, and you're good to go for making tacos with it. Maybe a little lettuce. But we're definitely going to cook this into our eggplants here. We're going to give it a nice fry here. I'm back. Okay, welcome back. Now I'm going to set aside a little bit of water. Not much, just a little. We're going to add a little bit of beef bouillon here. Just a minute. Now that the fat's starting to render a little bit, looks like we're about a little more than a quarter to half cooked. So this might be a good time to add it. We're going to let that water soak down in there. We're going to add a little bit of beef broth to it. Like I said, not much. might need a little oil water. Let's see. We need this to be fairly dry. We don't want it to be wet. A little bit of oil is fine, but we don't want it to be wet. It's that wind. I hope y'all can't hear it. The eggplants are starting to sweat fairly well. We're going to have to give them a few minutes. I want them to soften up a little bit too. We've still got a little while on our feet here. There, see you go. There you go. It's starting to form up the fat and everything else. That's good. We want them to simmer down a little bit for about 10 minutes or so. I'm just grabbing some of the stuff for our next one. Oh, that's simmering nicely. Told you we didn't need much water, just a little bit. Took a look at the stuff that I put in the freezer under the in the seal bags, and it looks just the exact same as it did when I put it in there. So that having that vacuum sealer is a big advantage for you. I know they're expensive, about $90, and bags are about $17 if you get some imported ones. But you know what? It is definitely worth it if you're saving yourself hundreds of dollars in food. I honestly don't think this is enough. Whoops. Enough paprika. This is supposed to have a nice big red red color to it. So we're going to add more. I seem to remember the recipe was a couple of tablespoons. Don't be afraid to use it. It's not expensive. I still don't think it's enough. I'm only adding a couple of teaspoons at a time. Now I'm also going to go ahead and start adding in our parsley. Bear in mind, I am kind of eyeballing this. Oh, look at that. I'm going to add in a basil too. We're down to our last couple of minutes here. You gotta admit, how good does that look? I know the color's a little off. I have no idea how to fix that. But it's nice, it's a very nice color. There's a lot of it too. You're not gonna waste anything. You're gonna have a lot from this. One of the biggest things you all know is that I try very much not to waste anything. Sometimes you can't avoid it. But even when you do, it shouldn't be much. Just be vigilant. I dumped in all the parsley, by the way. And it still doesn't look red enough to me. I'm going to taste a little bit of it, and we'll see if we need to adjust it. It's supposed to have a nice, strong, peppery smell to it and flavor. Okay. Even for me, that's a little light on the salt. There's definitely not enough paprika. That's it. That's my whole jar. I'm gonna get a little more. This is the chili powder. It's not something super spicy. Paprika is made from red bell pepper. It's not exactly hot. So we're up to this is about 2 tablespoons now. And you can see the liquid is starting to disappear. There's just a little bit left. All right, that's our 10-minute marker. Try it again. That's much better. I'm still adding a little more paprika. This is not salted or anything. Paprika is just paprika. Okay. Alright, we'll turn the heat off so we don't overcook it. We're going to come back over here. So now you can see here that they've been sweating. There's a lot of liquid down here. I may not have cut these thin enough. We may have to adjust it. We'll see. I'm going to use our tray from earlier. So we don't have to use 2. We'll see what we can do about forming this. I am going to have to let our meat cool down for a minute. We've got quite a lot of it. There we go. There is some red to it. You can see it. Now I'm going to start reheating the oven back up to 350. When I saw this being done, they were doing it in a fired oven, in a fire clay slash brick oven. So it's going to be difficult to duplicate that. It probably is going to be a little hotter than 350, so it may cook a little long. Right after we get this into the oven, we're going to start on our green curry. I've made that here several times. This one, let's see. This one's going to be very, very green. Okay. We'll use the wok for that one. I'm going to mess up 3 pans and have to do dishes for like 3 loads. It'll be fine. Oh, our rice smells so good. The jasmine rice is nice and sweet. It has a nice flavor to it, nice smell. I have to grab more. I need my tiny bit of caffeine to keep going. This seems familiar. Eggplant sliced in half, filled with meat. Yeah. This is the Turkish dish, but you weren't there with us, Jim. We were in the middle of an arcade world in VR chat, and it just came up. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna fold this under, and fold this one under. Try to be gentle about it. And fold this one under, and fold this one under. See, I was afraid that it was going to be a little too thick, and I think it is, honestly. I might need to... Yeah, I'm having trouble bending this one. Ah, I broke it. But there we go. Stab it. I mean, this is literally my first attempt at doing something that I just saw them doing. I literally just watched them making this. There was no recipe given. Only what they said they were putting in it. Might completely fall apart. We have no idea. We're just gonna do it. We're calling this one an experiment here. Experiment that I just sort of watched from the Shendig Mountains of Turkmenistan or Kazakhstan. Sorry, Kazakhstan. There we go. Just like that. Well, you were there, Nate. I mean, you watched it with us. These are still sweating. As thin as that is, I feel like I should cut it again. Hey, Six! Welcome in. How you doing? I don't think these are technically ready to go, and I might have cut them a little too thick. I want to try to thin this one down a little bit. So there we go, first lesson today. We gotta thin them down. How are you doing? Oh, we got a hydrant. Okay. Thank you. All right, so I cut some of the center out of that one. The knob end of this one is too thick. So I was right the first time. It looks like we need to thin these down a little. Which is not an easy task after they've already been cut. I hate to toss it, but... Alright, let's see if that did it. Oh, that feels a little better. It feels a little better, but it's not quite a little better. Okay, this one requires some experience, I can see. Okay, I'm going to toss that one. We'll do that one again later. I'll chop that one up for curry. All right, this is the one we cut a little thinner. Maybe this one will work better. Hey, Derwin, welcome in. Uh-oh. Well, shoot. You're definitely supposed to be thin. Welcome in. How are you doing today? We are experimenting. I think we got the wrong kind of eggplants for this. I definitely needed some meatier ones that were softer. Or maybe we needed to salt them a little more. I don't know. But we're going to keep trying. That's the whole point of experimenting, right? Drop our hot meat mix in here. Try not to make too much of a mess. Just a little bit at a time. Be patient. Pack it on down in there. I don't think I'm going to be able to get that last one there. We'll try. You can see how this is a very interesting and artistic one here. But you know what? Even with the one that we didn't do well correctly, we're not going to waste it. We'll just chop it up and use it in our green curry here in a few minutes. Alright, so from what we've learned on that last one, I'm going to put that last one there into a thinner piece. Maybe these were the right thickness for this. I don't see how we're supposed to make pie out of this. Oh, too thick. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna stop for a second. This is definitely a work of art here. And I don't have the touch for it yet. Grab another cutting board here. I'm going to try to thin these down a little bit. Well, there's that one. A little thinner. And a little thinner. We're not going to waste any of this. Just lay it flat if it's broken and you're being on top of that. I'm trying not to do that, but that may be what we end up doing. I want to see if I can at least get this close to being correct. This is such an interesting one, an interesting dish to do. I want to try it. That one looks pretty good. I think they all need to kind of fold in the same direction too. I was trying to fold them under each other, and I don't think that's the right way to do it. I accidentally created 6 in this one. And fold this last one underneath. Okay, that's close. I'm gonna let it stay there. A little bit of my orange drink. There's a reason I got 4 or 5 of these today. It was earlier. It was because I figured this might happen. After all, this is the first time I've ever tried this. always going to have problems the first time you do something. Even if it falls completely apart and it doesn't work, as long as it still tastes right, as far as I'm concerned, that's good enough. We got plenty of our meat mixture here. And this alone, I could smell it taste. It probably will taste wonderful. I know the samples that I've tasted have been very good. And it definitely required a couple of tablespoons of paprika for this. Our oven's hit 350. And I honestly think it needs to be a little bit hotter, but we'll see. That little sad leaf in there, I don't know that I can add any to it. There we go. The rest of this can be used for tacos. Looks interesting, doesn't it? Meaty thick eggplants. So there we go. I'm going to throw this in the oven. We're going to kind of eyeball it. We're looking to make sure that our eggplants are done. Really, we're only cooking the eggplant here. The rest of it is already done. We don't want to overcook that either, or it'll get dry. But I also have about 1.5 pounds left. So that's good for making plenty of tacos too. They're just going to be Turkish tacos, you know? No big deal. Our last one. I am going to go ahead and just slice up this this poor little eggplant here. We're going to dump out all the water from where it was being drained. We're just going to slice it out like this. We'll fry it in, add it to our green curry so we don't waste it. Yeah. No waste. Now our green curry here, the secret okay, so let me give you a little background. I used to, when I was working, I'm still working in the same place, but when I was working there 8 or 10 years ago, there was a lady down the street that owned a Thai restaurant. She was from Thailand. And she had some very, very good recipes. There weren't a whole lot of things on the menu, but there didn't need to be. And basically what ended up happening was she did so well, and she was older to begin with. She was a much older lady, that she retired. And when she retired, I did try. It was the very early stages of me trying to learn how to cook properly. I did try to get her to give me some recipes, and she said, what she told me was that it isn't the recipe that dictates how it goes. It's the technique and learning how to make it correctly. And I remember all of that, and I try to keep it in my mind here. So the thing to remember about making these types of curries is that as long as your base part of it is correct, the rest of it will be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and chop up the last little bit of parsley that we've got here. We're just going to throw that in there. It's not really part of it. But I don't have any cilantro, so we're going to use this. It's not too much different. It's It's not going to make much difference. I just don't want any of these stems. I'm going to leave these as whole as I can today. Every time I do one of these curries, it's different. You can go back and look at as many as you like, as many of these recipes as you like. I've done green curry about 3 or 4 times. I don't know if I've posted them all on YouTube yet, but we're working on it. I only recently started adding things to YouTube. There we go. That's enough. I'm going to go ahead and grab a few more leaves here. I'm just going to tear them. I'm not going to shred them to bits. I'm sure that's plenty. We'll just knock the rest of it. Whatever leaves we got left, we got left. Don't be super focused on some things. There we go. Okay. I went ahead and pulled a few things out of the freezer. Unfortunately, I have to use these slightly freezer burned kaffir lime leaves, but they will still provide the proper smell and taste. So they'll give us the lemon that we need. I've got 3 bird's eye chilies. We don't have any more than that right now without me cutting into a freezer bag, and I don't want to do that. I've got 1 piece of 1 3-inch piece or 2-inch piece of lemongrass, and we're gonna just saute that in there. We've got our half of our yellow onion from earlier. We've got a little bit of green pepper. Normally this is a take it or leave it item. It's kind of an optional one. For this particular recipe, it's not a recipe. I'm picking out what I've got. And we're going to use it. It doesn't matter. The big thing is, the really big thing is, red, green, whatever, is your curry paste and your coconut milk. Those are the 2 big things. Everything else that you're adding to it is just for you and what you want to add to it flavor-wise. I am doing this out of memory, and we're just going to continue doing this out of memory. I'm going to use sugar snap peas because I have a big bag of them from last week when we bought them and didn't use them. And I don't want to waste them. So we're going to use these. And I'll throw in some frozen peas too. Because why not? Let's see. Oh. I thought I had it up the back. You know what? We'll not do that today. I am going to use a little bit of the regular basil now. I normally would try to use Thai basil for this. Thai basil is the correct thing to use, but we don't have any at the moment, so I'm going to use this. It isn't going to make too much of a difference, but it will make a little bit. Now you'll notice I'm not adding a lot of spices to this. Almost all of it is in this can right here. If you can find these Maesari cans, even if it's just like a little local shop or something like that, They're worth the almost $3 a piece for this. For you, you'll use about half a can. For me, I'm going to use the whole can. I use the whole can of this. I use the whole can of milk, and it is very spicy usually. So this is what we're going to use for this. Check real quick. Oh yes, carrot. I forgot about carrot. You'd almost think that the carrot was the source for this one. And let's not forget our protein. I'm going to use tofu for this one. I'm just checking on our oven here. Let's not forget that's there. Yes, that's correct. I showed this to everybody earlier. This carrot is literally as big as my forearm. It's huge. The thing is that the bag was just full of them. The box that she had was just full of these. I am absolutely not going to go to the regular grocery store to get those tiny little wimpy carrots anymore. All right, the other thing. I like to have a little bit of crunch in one of these curries. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't, but this time I am. We're going to add some water chestnuts as well. And that's pretty much it. I will take a picture for this one, but I've done this recipe. I've done recipes similar to this so many times that I'm not going to really post it. I'll post the final and I'll post the prep. And if anybody wants to use it, they're welcome to do so. It'll be in Discord. Now, as far as heat and chili goes, these three little chilies right here, these are bird's eye chilies. One of them's got a little bad spot on it. We're going to cut that off. But these bird's eye chilies are 150,000 Scovilles. They are very, very hot. You're here for your return, as Bear promised. Hello, welcome in, Einer. So let's go ahead and get started here. Our eggplant is turning brown slowly, and this is from sitting out in the air. It's kind of similar to the same problem as you have with apples and with other things that are similar. So I'm going to set this over here. We got to hurry up. So as far as our basil goes, let's go ahead and pull that loose and then put it away. Because that's an easy one. We're just going to add a little bit. We're just going to kind of toss it in there. We're not going to really do much except tear it up. Your Thai basil is really for your serving. I do have some, but it's in the freezer. I don't want to use that. Well, what are we doing today? Oh my gosh. Well, right now we're on our last recipe. We're just doing kind of an offhand Thai green curry. I'm going to be making it with whatever I got left. And I've got a Turkish dish in the oven right now, which is kind of a folded over stuffed eggplant deal. And we're getting ready to start making up our Thai green here. The thing about this one is that we have to be careful not to overcook the coconut milk. A lot of times, the coconut milk getting overcooked makes it change color. Okay. So let's start off by trimming up our beans here. just going to take the ends off. Cut them in half. That carrot, yeah. That's probably the biggest carrot I've ever seen in real life here. Cutting our pea pods in half. Making them a little bit more bite-sized. These do need to simmer for a little while. They're sauce. I'm going to grab the big wok for this one. Like I said, I don't care today. We'll just do dishes. Normally, I try to minimize that. But for you all, if you're making one of these dishes, you're just making one of them. You're not making all 3 or 4 at a time. So it won't be as bad on dishes. Really can't say that the quality of these is great. I can see that some of them are dehydrated and they're old, a little older. I won't say that they're old because they're still firm. But that's the way it goes. I have no idea how long to cook that Turkish dish because in the video that I saw, they just threw it in the oven and went away, and then we watched Cats for a while. They're sizzling pretty well, but the eggplant is still very white. It hasn't really started breaking down yet, so we'll give it a little while. I am going to keep a close eye on it though. Kitchen now for 4 years. Haven't seen that size in 4 years. Wow. I got it from a Vietnamese store here locally, and pretty much all of them were that size. That was the biggest one, though. I grabbed it just for the stream factor. All right, our tofu. I'm going to drain this and press it a little bit. This is going to end up stir fried in with the rest of it. It's not going to be crispy, so we're not going to need to worry about it so much. But we do want it to be nice and dry if we can. And hey, for all of you out there that are professionals, let's remember that I'm not. So if I'm doing something that will work better a different way, let me know. All right. All right. Your cube size is up to you. I generally do half, 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 half cuts. All right, it's starting to change color a little bit. It's browning up a little bit. So the rule that I found was to cut it in half, then cut it in half again, then cut it in half again, and then cut it in half again. But I am going to actually cut it in half, then in third, and then in third, and then in third, and then in third, and horizontal. So we'll make them a little smaller. I didn't. I let my knife go downward a little bit, so it's going to be a little uneven. Shoot. I'm hearing sizzling over there, so I'm rushing a little bit, and I shouldn't be. I'm going to grab a clean towel. I end up using 3 towels every one of these shows. We're going to press it down a little bit. Kind of squeeze it down. Hey, Shen, welcome in. Do I use firm tofu? This one was, I believe, was just standard firm. It wasn't the extra firm. All right, that's soaked through already, so we'll do it again. I'm not pressing too hard. I'm just pressing hard enough to try and squeeze it out. We want as much water as we can out of it. Really, if you want to do it, you want to, press it down with a lot of paper towels and let it sit for a while for the weight on it. But we're just kind of doing it quickly. I'll flip it over and grab another towel. Actually, that feels pretty good. I want to make sure we get the other side if we can. There's no way I'm going to get this right today. Yeah, it's crumbling a little bit. Might have squeezed it a little too hard. That's okay. I also didn't quite cut it all the way through here. Try to be gentle with my knife. What's a non-candy turkey? I was wondering if anybody was going to call me on that one. I'm making. I've got it in the oven right now, Lilac. It is an eggplant dish with a beef mixture with a lot of onion and paprika stuffed in it. And I just was looking for kind of a decent title to use today. How are you doing? Welcome in. All right, that's the next one. I'm going to press it down again on a dry section. And we're going to call that as okay for now. This is going to soak in our sauce. So I'm going to pull this on the side here. And I'm not even going to coat it today. I'm just going to I'll go ahead and put some salt and pepper on it. A little bit of paprika. Or not paprika, but cayenne. Because those are absolutely my defaults. In there real well. Set this aside. For that plus our eggplant, it's just going to simmer in the sauce. Pulled out the big board in a while. How much of this carrot do I really need? I don't think I need that much by any means. We'll use about that much. I don't know. I haven't ever tried to do this before. Nope. I absolutely can tell that I'm going to have a problem with that. I'll just grab our peeler. Yeah, it's huge, huge. But it's a lot better than having to peel a whole bunch of little ones and then end up with very little left over. I hate that. We're going to cut that end of it off. That worked pretty well. All right, one fair warning. I am going to use the entire can, which is about 4 tablespoons of our, oh, that's enough right there, of our curry paste. That is a lot of curry paste. Generally, you only use about half a can, but I do like it spicy. All right, there we go. I don't even need that much. I'll just set this in with the other one. Guess we'll use it for salad or something. Generally don't use carrot for this, but I just couldn't stand it today. I had to use it. It'll be all right. It'll be a little color, right? Yeah. That's as close as it's going to get. I couldn't really fine cut it today. I don't have a lot of time. It'll be all right. All right. Don't cut these peppers without gloves unless you're used to it or prepared for it. Just reminding you. These peppers will get you if you're not ready for them. Now for this, I'm just going to smash it a little bit. We're going to end up digging it out later, so I don't want to chop it up too much. This is your lemongrass. Your kaffir lime will also be put in there and allowed to stew with it, as is will our basil. We're pretty much ready to go here. All the bears can smell the foods. I'm gonna let our Turkish meal here simmer a little bit longer. Again, we're just kind of eyeballing it. This is literally from just watching somebody else do it. I'm just trying to figure out how to do it from watching. I like to experiment and practice and try. Some of these don't work. Some of them do. They work just fine. With our coconut milk, I have found what they tell you about not taking the cream part out, it's wrong. You really need the cream. It makes it nice and thick. If you want to do that, that's up to you. I like keeping the cream in it, especially from this better brand. Makes for better curry. I like it nice and thick. Well, hello, Bear Orb. Welcome in. There we go. Nice and thick. It's still a little lumpy, but I'm probably not going to be able to fix that. Not with a spoon, anyway. It's fine. We're not being super ultra precise today. All right, let's head over to the stove. I'm going to use a flat bottom wok today for this one. This is our last one today. We're going to heat it up to kind of medium high. And I'm going to crack open our can of curry paste. And again, I am using twice as much. If you do this, it is going to be very spicy. And oddly enough, it gets hotter as it sits in the refrigerator for a while. Not going to use the olive oil for this one. Going to use a little higher temperature oil. We're eyeballing it. Absolutely. Everything we're doing, we're just eyeballing it today. Did our music stop? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I want to keep the music going. Now, we've already made our rice today. We've got some jasmine rice, but I added a little bit of wild rice to it to add a little bit of color. Yeah, I'm going to use this flat bottom wok pan for this one. I do have a full round wok, but it's an electric and it takes a while for that one to heat up. I use it, but I don't use it all the time. Everyone deserves it. Alright, so the primary thing here. One, make sure your pan is nice and oiled. All the way up the side. And you got it nice and hot. You're going to fry your paste first. Then you're going to add in everything else and let it simmer. It's not hard. This type of Thai curry is really not that hard. Remember, we're trying to make things that are easy to do on a weeknight, you know? May not be the perfect way, may not be the best way, but it's not bad. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put in our curry paste first. Okay, there we go. We got a little bit of smoke, so it's about right. I also want to check our oven here. I think that's done. We'll pull that out. And looks like it dried out a little bit. So we'll set this over on the side. Okay. The sizzle the ingredients make when they land on the wok will be satisfying. Yeah. Alright. Here we go. Turn the heat down just a little bit. That's probably a little hot for this. Here we go. Alright, here's our onion and our green pepper. We're going to let it cook for just a minute or so, not long. Woo! That heat hit me immediately. And I absolutely forgot something, which I'm going to have to do as an emergency basis here. Oh, there's a lot of cream in this one. All right, so we're going to let that simmer up for a minute. Now, what am I going to do? What I forgot. I completely forgot the ginger. Kind of late here, alert for a bit. Okay. So I forgot the ginger. I was supposed to put ginger in there. So, lucky that I do a lot of Indian dishes. So I, in fact, have a garlic ginger mix paste, which we can toss right in there. And that honestly is one of the best things to have around. As you can see, we've got a nice green color here. We don't want to overheat it or it will start turning brown. Don't want that. So be careful about the heat. I'm keeping it down to a medium low. It's starting to steam a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and add in our items that need to simmer for a while, including our lemongrass and our hot peppers, our birds actually, are already drained and oops. Anyway, our tofu needs to simmer for a while. We're going to slide that right on in there. We'll let that get up to temperature. And then we'll bring everything else here in a minute. Oh, our kaffir lime. Oops. Gosh. I'm forgetting everything tonight. You will want to remove those lime leaves once it's started, once you serve it. Just gonna go ahead and add stuff. I knew that was too much. I had a feeling that was too much. Well, that's fine. We got that covered. Someone got a little bit anxious. Mixed it a little too fast. That's okay. We'll just make twice as much. We need the whole can. All right. Key is to bring it up slowly. You don't want to bring this up too fast. You want it to simmer, but you don't want it to bring it up to a boil and then bring it down. I have scorched it before doing that. So now that we've got this much with this stove, I'm going to bring it up to a medium high. Going. It really helps. Started right now. My dishwasher is very old, so it makes a lot of noise. Look at this. I can hear it starting to simmer. I still have a huge chunk of carrot left. Oops.
You don't make up for your sins in the church. You do it in the streets. You do it at home. The rest is bullshit and you know it.
This isn't quite as traditional as you would see, but it's very easy to do if you're doing it for yourself. We've done a lot of traditional ones. I was thinking tonight that maybe I could do something a little faster. Hey Lucy, welcome in. I think we'll do just fine with this. As long as it's not too spicy, we should be good. Alright, let's get it up to a simmer at least. Come on. Here we go, a little bit of movement. It's gonna need to cook for about 15 to 20 minutes. We've still got half our onions, we've got half the carrot. We've got some taco shells, and we've got some leftover meatballs made out of sausage. So we can plan on next week, I'll put those in the freezer. We can plan on next week having a, maybe a rigatoni dish or something with penne and some marinara sauce we'll make ourselves. There we go. Low bubble. Just let it simmer. Just wanted to give a hug. Okay. All right, I'll be back just a second. Anyway, now what I mentioned earlier. Oh, that's a little too much. bring it down. We want it to simmer, not to boil. Let me set a timer. So really, really all you're looking for is to make sure that you get the base ingredients correct. You need your coconut milk, you need your curry paste. You don't want to try to make the curry paste yourself. I've tried to do it a few times. It is a very long and arduous process, and it's a lot more money than just buying a couple of cans of the good stuff. So, and I will say that even the stuff that the grocery stores carry, if you add a little bit of lemongrass to it, like I just did, it's still pretty good. So you don't have to worry about that too much. As long as you keep the base ingredients correct, you can change whatever you like for the most part. Now, your red curries are a little more forgiving. The green one, you don't want to boil too much. If you boil it too much, it'll start turning brown, and you don't want that. In this case, I do have some red peppers in it. I do have carrots in it. But this one should be very tasty, especially with our ginger and garlic paste. It's just going to kind of blend in there. Normally, I would say you need about an inch of ginger and you slice it up, but didn't have any today. I'm going to turn the heat back down to medium. It took a little while to get it up to temperature. I can definitely smell that lime in there as well. The kaffir lime, hey Bear, welcome back. The kaffir lime is your best option. However, if you can't find it, you can always just add lime juice. I mean, you can squeeze a little bit out of the bottle there and add a little bit in up to your taste levels. It's not that hard. Won't taste the same, but it'll be close. And close sometimes is enough. Experiment today looks pretty good. I'm going to see if I can get them off the tray without destroying them. Oh no. Not everything always comes out perfect, you know? As long as it tastes good, it's fine. You're not serving it to kings, are you? If you are, then that's your problem. You gotta deal with it. let's see. I'm gonna add a little bit of basil here in about 5 minutes. Looks like we got a nice mix going on. Got a new boyfriend? Oh, okay. He's into a furry black and gray fox. Okay. So a party fox. Nice. As long as you're having fun with it. We're almost done today. Oh, let's go ahead and get our rice out. It seemed to be missing the bowl. Wonder where it disappeared to. Perfect. We've got enough, quite a few meals here. Didn't make too bad of a mess today, only about a sink and a half. See, are we ready for our basil yet? We got about 4 minutes. Let it sit for a minute or two. Fox porcupine. Interesting. I put so much in there, I completely forgot about the beans. Oh my gosh. I had some beans to add to this too. Some nom beans, remember? I just opened up the fridge and I forgot about them. I guess I'm gonna have to do another one. I'll have to do another recipe later this week. Sometimes when you get going and you get busy, that happens. The beans weren't even originally part of the plan. I just saw them there and they had them. They don't normally have them, so I got them. Oops. Oh well. I will deal with it. I'll look up a recipe and see how it goes. I love working with stuff randomly. Because I can give it to you guys. Alright. Let me give this sauce a little bit of a taste here. Woo! Nice and spicy. I'm gonna add in that little bit of basil here. Oh, that's nice and spicy. We just need to make sure our vegetables are nice and tender. The heck was that? I just heard something outside. Spicy? Yeah, it's very spicy. I used the entire can of paste. If you were going to do something like this, you would want to put part of it away in a bag, just like a freezer bag or something, and vacuum it down if you can, squeeze out the air, and put it back in the fridge and only use half a can. I used the whole can. But I also added 2 cans of milk, so the mixture is pretty good. I now honestly have a little too much food. But I'm okay if it's the too much to the vegetarian and vegan appropriate side, because the people at work are all vegetarian. I know that sounds weird, but I work with a whole lot of people that are in engineering that are from India. It's not a typical thing for Americans. Okay, there's our timer. So let me see what kind of condition we're in. I want to check and make sure that our eggplant and our snow peas, our sugar snap peas are relatively soft. Yep, they are. Okay. So we'll start our serving here. Share with the bears. You're welcome to it. All right, let's come back here. So here we are tonight. You would not believe how many times I hear that too. Share with the bears, share with the bears. I've got a lot of bear friends. Fortunately, I think I did a little bit too much damage to the lemongrass, so I'm going to be picking it out this week, which is fine. I'll deal with it. It kept its color. So we didn't lose our green. What are the little bread? So these are just buttermilk biscuits over here. I made something earlier that we have here in the South called a cowboy biscuit. This was our first recipe tonight. This is white onion, chili sauce, and spicy sausage. I just made one of them because I'm going to store them in the fridge. So we've got ourselves a lot of jasmine rice, but I added a little bit of wild rice to it to add a little bit of color here and there and some texture. You can see it's not very wet. It's nice and dry. We've got a lot of sauce here, and our green curry is nice and spicy. Again, the big thing is it doesn't matter what you put in there, even if you screw it up. As long as you have your coconut milk and you fry your paste a little bit first and you add in your onion and garlic, you are good to go. You can add all sorts of weird combinations in there. Normally this is made entirely with green stuff. I mean literally physically colored green. I did that today and I modified it just a little bit. I added in our leftover eggplant because we weren't going to waste it. And I added in a little bit of carrot. And a little bit of green pepper here. We'll just put a little bit of our here. I'll just put a little bit on the side here. There we go. Now we've got our baked beef stuffed eggplants. It looks a little dark. It does look a little dark to me too, but the camera's making it a lot darker. It smells great, so I'm thinking it's probably perfectly fine. It's probably not perfect, but again, I'm doing this off of memory from a video that I watched a week ago. So here we go. This is what we got tonight. Not too bad. Unfortunately, I can't say that I maintained our budget this week. Our budget for every week is generally $60. I try my best to hold it at $60, but with the way the prices are going and everything else, it is so difficult to do this. But I tell you what, we got 5-6 days worth of breakfast over here. We've got at least 6 or 7 meals, at least for one person, not eating too much with our rice. And of course, we can make more rice. With our green curry here, and we got dinner tonight and probably tomorrow. I want to try to microwave that and see how it comes out. And we did that for about $90. Now I did get a little bit extra there, so the 90 probably is not accurate. It's more like 85. But still, we didn't do too bad. We really didn't. That's lunch for a bear. So, you know, it's a matter of wanting to do it and taking the time to do it. I took, 3-4 hours now? Almost 4 hours. So I took the 4 hours to do this today. If you want to do the same, you can take 4 hours to do it yourself. It'll probably take a little less time because I'm, trying to make sure you can see what I'm doing and everything else. If I were doing it, just for me, I would be mixing all the spices in one thing and just dumping it, going, But at least for now, this is what we've got. I like to do this. I like to experiment. I like to learn some of this, all of this really today, all from memory. I just saw it. I saw it happen. I know what was in it vaguely. I might have missed a few things, but you know what? We'll find out when I eat it. I'm telling you right now, it looks great to me. It smells great. All of it smells great. So that's what we got. Okay. So now for the regular spiel. I'll just let you know again, we have a YouTube channel now. I am posting videos of the cooking shows as quickly as I can. I have been doing this for almost 3 years now. So it's going to take me a little while to get what I have posted, but I have several videos posted. The link is under the stream here. I do believe it's active. We have a Discord channel, and in the Discord channel, I have one channel to give you the recipes and the setup, one channel to show you the final pictures if you want to try it. We also have a channel for your recipes and for your final pictures as well. If you'd like to join, you're welcome to do so. The link under the stream is a permanent link. We do manual verification, so let us know you're there and be a little bit patient. One of our mods, we have a bunch of great mods, will catch it and bring you right on in. Yes, I do. And if you have any ideas, you want to post anything, you want to ask questions, you want to give me ideas, you want to send things in, whatever you want to do. We have a lot of community functions. I do sit in there on voice chats, and we play games and do other things too. So you're welcome to join if you want to do so. We have a very fun community. It is a little on the quiet side, so if you're if you're adverse to sensory overload, it won't be too bad. So just join in, let us know you're there, send us a message. We'll be glad to bring you straight in. All right. It's right under the stream. There should be 4 links. All right, let's head on out of here. Let's see, because I've got to pack all this up and get it ready to go. Plus, I want dinner. Thank you so much for coming in, everybody. And Shin, I know you do a lot of cooking, so you send me some things, okay? All right. Oh, okay. So let's see what our Wall of Love says today. First off, of course, Jindal and Dio and everybody that comes in to help with the stream, thank you so much for coming in. I can't see everything, and you can, so I really appreciate it when you hang around. Lilac, Bear Orb, and Goofball Doggo, thank you so much for the follows. And Jen, thank you so much for the resub too. And Glitch, thank you for the cheers. I'm so glad to hear you're doing so well. All right. Something to think about during your days off this week. I know you're probably doing a lot of commercial cooking and everything's repetitive, but I'd be glad to add anything you like, or if you've got any other ideas, let me know. In any case, let's see here. Let's see if we can find somebody to raid so I can have some time to clean up here. Oh, gosh. What do we got? I think we raided him last week. There's not a whole lot tonight. No.
Long John Silver's $6 shrimp baskets will have you hooked.
All right. I think we'll go raid a friend of ours that we don't see too often. They're doing a card shop simulator, which is kind of similar to the grocery store I've been building, and we have done pretty well with that. So let's see what they're doing. Thank you, Bear. Welcome in, and welcome in again. It's always fun to hang out. Yeah, thank you. Let's see. Let me make sure I spell it right. There we go. All right. So if you've got my emotes, you're welcome to use them. If you don't, you can use whatever you like. But hang on, you'll get some extra points and a few other things. Here's our raid message we generally use on Saturdays for our cooking stream. You're welcome to cut and paste it in chat. We're going to head over and say hi to Static. Static is working on the card shop simulator. I'll probably be picking up our grocery store simulator again here soon. I am going to try to go back to doing kind of my basics with doing some strategy games. So we'll be having that here in another week or so. Y'all have a great night. Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Make something nice. Send us some pictures. We'll see you all later. Have a great night. Bye now.